To round out your season in a playoff-like atmosphere.
Well, this is the beauty of what the Ivy League's tournament has created. It sets this up almost like a play-in game. Of course, both teams needing to take care of business today, and just adds extra incentive heading into regular season games that they all matter so much more. And as you mentioned with Senior Day, this is a great way to end the regular season. Hopefully it's even better for one of these teams in terms of results.
Sam Weiss, number 15 at midfield, is back in the lineup. And a lower body injury that sidelined her for the entirety of the 2024 season. She is a welcome force that's back in the lineup. We weren't sure if we were going to see her. Tracy Bartholomew sort of teased it in a way, but good to see her back toward the bottom of your screen there. And with so many newcomers this year for Columbia, 13 of them, but there's 24 freshmen or sophomores in this group. Just kind of playing with house money and getting great experience in a playoff-like atmosphere as well.
And that's something head coach Tracy Bartholomew spoke about, especially with their slow start to the season, going winless through their first four, that they really need to rely on some of those veterans and learn how to reset and get the team gelling. So they've definitely been able to do that now in terms of the production we've seen in recent games, the way they're competing, and a lot of that is those freshmen and sophomores now are almost like sophomores and juniors, essentially, Joey, and just the amount of minutes and experience they've been able to log.
It was a tough start to the year as well for Columbia. 0-4 to start the year. They turned around a few impressive results. Got a win over St. John's in September, win over Brown in late September, and a 3-0 win over Yale, which you're on the call for that game. Overall, Columbia is still being outscored by its opponents, but outshooting opponents, like you mentioned. They have been throwing a barrage at opposing goalkeepers through the tail end of the regular season, and it's paid off.
Well, something to keep an eye on as we're working through this slight delay here for the game to get going is that it's very windy today. And this is a game, I know we heard from head coach Chris Hamlin about set pieces and the importance of executing them. This is a game that set pieces in terms of corner kicks or even free kicks drastically change. Of course, the run of play does as well, but you have to be even more mindful because it's extremely gusty winds that can change the flow of the ball and how the game is played out.
Officials got the clock ready to go. 43:30. And we are set for action. Jasmine Leznick, the junior from San Francisco, California, lays one down. This back line for Columbia needs to be formidable today. Harvard can really hit you from anywhere, and Chris Hamlin let us know that yesterday. We have ball strikers pretty much anywhere on the pitch, and we're not keen to just park the bus. We want to stay on the aggressive.
That's key. You really have to high press in a game like this. You have to manage just a lot of emotions. The tempo is going to be high in terms of intensity. So you want to ensure you're coming out as the aggressor, playing on the front foot. And I know Hamblin mentioned getting their line higher at times when the game calls for it to try to force turnovers from Columbia.
Working inside of the midfield, Maya Beltran. Long and forwarding ahead there, trying to look for Layla Hawkins on the outside.
You also anticipate both teams needing some time to truly settle in, essentially. Of course, they've been hearing ever since their respective losses in their last outing the importance of this game. So it's so vital they settle into a groove, kind of get off any sort of last-minute angst and excitement and just emotions to get into, as both coaches talk about, what they do best as the Lions and as the Crimson.
Samantha Mahoney is the netminder today. Junior from Brookline, Massachusetts. Just 4 games last year. Much bigger role this year. Replaced Lauren Rodriguez from a season ago. All Ivy League player. Training well over the last year. Great with her feet. According to Tracy Bartholomew, she's going to have an impact today if Columbia wants to win. So my question to you then, Renee, when you started to touch on a little bit, if you had some keys to give out, what would come to mind for you for both sides?
Yeah, I think the one for both teams is in a game like this, there's going to naturally be the ebbs and flows. You've got to be able to ride that wave out, so to speak, and stand disciplined and organized as a unit through that, and also relying on, whether it's through vocal leadership or just your play, to work through You don't want those mistakes. You don't want those errors. You're going to be overthinking things. You don't want to get into that mental headspace. So you have to just get to what you do best, competing, winning your individual battles, and letting the game flow as it does. It's all mental, to be honest, I think, a game like this.
Absolutely. And having been a player as well, you understand, too, the drastic stakes sometimes of a late game like this to get into your conference tournament.
Well, the reality
is when you were playing?
Exactly. The reality is both of these teams know this is a chance for them to potentially win a share of the Ivy League title, get a spot in the tournament. Even for Harvard, they could host. But they also know this could be their last game of the season. That's a lot and a wide range of emotions to bottle up. So it's hard. It's a lot of pressure. But that's why I mentioned it brings that play-in tournament aspect, that this game becomes that much more vital of managing your emotions and making sure you're leaning on your teammates in a game like this.
Elsa Santos Lopez and Olaf Christendotter, both forwarding for this Harvard group. We're into the final third. It's Tabian. Sends one into the area. Good look for Columbia. That's on the outside of the cage, and Rhiannon Stewart breathes a sigh of relief, but an early chance from the Lions, shot out of a cannon.
Best chance we've seen so far to start off this game. You take a look at this, again, a beautiful service into the box. Does a great job of just getting there first. That's Sammy Montione. Well done.
Montione gets the first good look for Columbia. Again, talk about outshooting their opponents, and need more and more of those chances if you're going to come away with a win today. Leshnik on the outside. Going to try to push here for Harvard. Might get a sense that both these teams want to play coast to coast at times.
Well, you imagine a play like that last one could be a wake-up call to get going. Either Columbia is going to continue to put the pressure on, or Harvard, as you see a big tackle there, going to answer back and say, hey, we've got to return the favor on the other end.
That's Olaf Christendotter. A clean tackle in the midfield. Leshnik on the inside channel sends one toward cage just to test Samantha Mahoney. If you have the open lane, try it.
Well, not nearly as dangerous as the opportunity we saw the other way for Mancione, but it is still important that both teams now have had their first shot, a shot on goal at that, for Harvard as well to even return back moments later. And I anticipate this could be that type of back-and-forth game of each team having strikes and opportunities.
Working ahead is Columbia. Trying to find their presence in the middle. It was a bit of a box-out effort there from August Hunter on Evelyn Javers.
Well done there up top as Columbia is building a field by Evelyn Javers just to stand tall and strong on the ball to be able to hold up the contact shield, draws the foul, and this gives the Lions a good opportunity for a set piece here to get playmakers forward and see what they can do with it.
I mean, Dima Elder, the sophomore from Dearborn, Michigan. Try to hoof this one down into the box. Looping ball in. Still alive, and Rhiannon Stewart's there. All Ivy League second team last year, co-defensive player of the week. One time a season ago, one time this year. 81% save percentage last season was good for second in the Ivy for Stewart. She's just continued to get better. Number 30 in cage. Set pieces were going to be extra important for Chris Hamblin and his team. He mentioned that specifically for offense, but you got to think the defense also has to be an important set piece emphasis today. Harvard works in the midfield.
Well, to your point, it's all about the discipline and organization. You don't want to get caught flat at any moment, making sure you're staying tight on your marks defensively, and then offensively, getting your runs in to goal-scoring positions.
Susie Long down to Audrey Francois. Encroaching on top of the 18. Tries to send that one back over to Anya Van den Einde. And Columbia will gladly take that ball in the midfield.
Well, so far we are seeing a lot of possession just happening in the middle portion of the field, and I kind of am not surprised by that as well. Just being a bit more patient. You don't want to force it. You don't want to play it too aggressive from the opening start. So it seems as though, as you see here, Columbia just literally slowing things down as Harvard has dropped into their lower block. Very compact, lots of numbers behind the ball, trying to keep Columbia from any penetrating passes.
Bitzer gets tied up there with Francois. Ball's still alive. Referees are letting him play today.
You just see there Harvard does a good job of baiting in Columbia. They stay very disciplined, staying home, and then the Lions looking to find some options to break forward just off the dribble that led right into the double team. So good patience defensively by Harvard allows them to get the ball back. Now they have to see if they can stretch the field and get forward.
Francois tries to squeeze that one into Santos Lopez. Still alive for Santos Lopez. She trips off the contact there with Maya Beltran. No call. It's well out of play there by Santos Lopez. It'll be Columbia throw.
Officials definitely letting them play. I feel like this could have been a foul, actually, when you look at that again. But then I'm not sure if she stumbled as much on the initial contact or just lost her footing afterwards. Little confusion on this one here as to whose kick it is. So this is also something to keep in mind. We talk about the intensity, all the storylines in terms of playoff implications, but the other reality is if this game becomes a lot of whistles and stoppages, that could keep either team from getting into any sort of rhythm or momentum. And so that's a couple of plays there that we've seen some confusion and misunderstandings as to what's going on, foul or no foul.
Played forward here for Columbia, and Stewart's there to collect. Well, you're absolutely right. Both sides really trying to penetrate and work into the final third. You find that in the first 15 minutes or so, and that's what we're getting. But the feeling out period is over. And to your point as well, Rob Komorowski, our referee today, Chris Muse, Greg Muse, and George Vargas are the officials, both on the sideline in the fourth, in the box.
Yeah, and I think for both of these teams, especially looking at their recent results, they've had games that have come down so much to one mistake here or there being the difference. And so I think that's also part of wanting to ensure that they're not coming into today, too much taking risks in that regard, but instead just letting the game develop.
Francois back inside. Krista Dota gets tripped up. A shot on goal and collected there by Mahoney. That was Irena Hiensdotter Gonzalez.
That's a second shot we've seen like that from Harvard. From distance, not really a lot of mustard on it, but you do see their Elise as they're getting around the goal, getting their heads up, looking to shoot first. And I think, hey, being that aware of being always ready to shoot is good. You want to continue doing that, but now if you're Harvard, seeing if you can put something on it in terms of placement and even some more pace on your shot.
Is that something early that you see as a midfielder that you'd like to let the goalkeeper know, hey, we're here. We have the capability of striking from a far distance?
Yeah, well, because this game hasn't had a lot offensively for either team, it's been mostly played in the middle of the field. You want to take your chances. Again, this is Harvard that just outshot Penn 24-4 last game. So we know they're going to take shots. They're going to create them. And you have to, it's basic math, shoot to score. Otherwise, you're never going to. So I think it's just them trying to have some versatility in how they're looking to attack. Keeps your goalkeeper on the other side honest.
Nice hold up there from Columbia. Layla Hawkins with some nifty defense on Susie Long. Mentioned the win and you're in scenario. The other game we had our eye on was Princeton and Brown. It was tied at 1 at halftime. If you're Columbia, if you lose today, your hopes of making the Ivy League tournament for the second straight year are over. Or for the third straight year, excuse me.
Well, the good thing for anybody that is a fan of either team, you do have the benefit that Princeton-Brown game did start earlier. Of course, Dartmouth is a game that we would still be waiting on as well, but with their game starting before this one, you will at least know the result before this game ends. Now, as a coach or as a player, you don't want to know that result at all because you don't want it to change how you're playing today because you don't want to even be thinking about any sense of scoreboard watching. That's for us to do.
As you saw there, Princeton and Brown in the 50th minute. We'll keep track of that as we go along here. Good forwarding look here for Columbia. Wheels on the outside. It's Tevian. Got one more option if she wants it. She'll shoot. Stewart saves. Jasmine Leshnick popped that one in the air. Kept it alive for Columbia briefly in the final third. And a foul. Gromowski not letting Monsione get away with that one on the foul. Take another look.
That's a beautiful opportunity by Maya Tabillon, just able to turn the corner, gets herself into a shooting position. Didn't really have options to look to slot that one across the box, so instead elects to take it herself. And then just well done on the other side by Stewart to cut down that angle. But Maya Tabillon, you can't let her get into open green like that. Too many times, she will make you pay.
She's done it 3 different times this season. 3 goals, 5 assists for Tabillon. The seniors honored today here on Senior Day.
It's crazy. Senior Day usually is one of the bigger storylines, but on a day like this, it's actually kind of takes a back seat to all the playoff implications. But I think it adds a little bit extra, especially for Columbia, a chance to send their seniors out the right way for their 4 seniors that have been a part of such great legacy, including that remarkable 2023 NCAA tournament run. But Harvard looking to play spoiler for Senior Day as a player. You actually take pride in trying to spoil your opponent's Senior Day. I can say that from experience. So that does add a little extra sprinkle and razzle-dazzle to all the chaos.
Relish in it a little bit? You can,
yes.
You can end somebody's party?
Oh, yes.
Spoken like a true competitor. There's no moral wins.
None.
Tabillon running the spot with some speed. Finding Javers! A goal for the Lions early. "17 minutes gone, and Columbia strikes first. And it's the first-year forward from Bethesda, Maryland, Evelyn Javers.
Maya Tabillon to Evelyn Javers. I saw this just 2 weeks ago in their 3-0 win against Yale right here on this same field, and they connect again. Beautifully done by Javers to just stay on side, times it well with her run, perfectly weighted pass from Maya to set her up to be able to finish around Rhiannon Stewart and put Columbia on the scoreboard first. These two have connected so much and so well together in the attack, assisting on each other's goals, and that one probably not only one of the prettiest, but the most needed in terms of giving Columbia the early 1-0 lead.
Our third goal of the season, 2 assists on the year as well for Evelyn Javers. Heck of a debut for a group that has 24 freshmen and sophomores. She has been sometimes worth a whole lot.
Beautifully done by Columbia. What an incredible start. And I was just mentioning, you can't give Maya Tabion that type of space. She's going to make you pay. Previously, she was on the run off the dribble. This time off the dribble, able to slot and find a teammate. Well done start for the Lions.
And now if you're Harvard, are you reeling at all from the first 15 minutes where you felt like we're not really sure where the pace is going? Both sides had equal number of minutes of possession. Columbia strikes very quickly thanks to Maya Tabion. We're used to that with her. She gets the assist to Javers. Where is your headspace now if you're Harvard?
Well, Harvard, this is deja vu. This is exactly where they were last game versus Penn, where they were trailing 1-0, and they were able to get that equalizer. I know we talked about it off of Anna Rahill. We showed it in the open. So this is familiar territory for them, and the reality is there's still so much time left. That's where you have to reset as a team and just focus on let's win the next 5 minutes and then the 5 after that and just break the game down into small increments versus overthinking this 1-0 score line.
Especially in a game where the stakes are so high. And you've probably been in this position too, or maybe you haven't, where you do fall a little bit early behind. Is it just business as usual when you're down 1-0 at this point in this juncture in the game?
Well, the key is you have to play smart because as you're chasing the game, that next goal is so important. You can't give up a second goal. If Columbia gets that insurance goal, that really makes this, I won't say impossible, but much more difficult. So it's very key for Harvard to make sure they're playing more aggressive to try to tie this game up, but still playing disciplined, not getting caught in transition or anything defensively to give up a second.
And Princeton has taken the lead over Brown in the 56th minute.
That's a prime example. There was 1-0 Princeton. Brown tied it up, and then Princeton scores again to take the 2-1 lead. This game has the makings of a similar type of storyline, especially right now. You look, Columbia's having a lot of success getting down that left flank, finding some open pockets to get into. So Harvard needs to make some adjustments and fast.
If you're going to find it, you're going to find it in this back line for Harvard, led by Jasmine Leshnick. 4 goals to tie for the team lead on the season with Anna Rahill, who's scored in 3 straight games. Leshnick on the outside. Let's get that ball alive briefly. Tabion collects it off the feed there from Sammy Moncion. Olaf Christendotter down over to Vendeninde. And unfortunate there for Harvard. Audrey Francois, the senior from Quebec, loses the handle on it out of play.
Yeah, that's a miss opportunity as Harvard was looking to build up fields, but this is where you have to pick her up and look to just lock Columbia in and win the ball back if you're the Crimson, which is exactly what they were just able to do.
Amy Koenig along the sideline. Defended by Tabion as well. Boy, she is everywhere on the pitch right now. Doubling up there with Sam Weiss to cause a turnover.
This is when it's almost like a game 7 of, I'd say maybe like the World Series, where you have to make sure, and it's not exactly that, you have to make sure you're leaving it all on the field. Look at this game, though, Joey. My goodness.
That's slick.
Princeton getting another goal. This time, I believe that was Alexandra Berry that scored the goal for the Tigers. You have to be everywhere in a game like this. There's nothing to hold or save or wait on because it is all or nothing in this contest.
Well done by our crew, giving us the inside look. The in-game highlight feature. Love it, guys. It's awesome.
Listen, we're very thorough here. Shout out to our crew for ensuring we're getting all the score updates and even giving you guys an inside look, because as important as this game is, obviously what's going on around the Ivy League, just as important for standings and where teams are going to be playing, who's going to be hosting, and who's going home.
Collected by Elder. Now they're trying to find Monsione. A little too much touch on that ball. And Rahill was looking for the give and go there.
Well, this is what we've seen from Harvard. They've been able to possess, but haven't been able to threaten and really break through Columbia's back unit. The line's doing a good job of staying organized, cutting off passing lanes, and it's really made it difficult for Harvard to break forward. I mean, the 2 shots we've seen from them were from distance and not too dangerous. So far, the Lions defense standing strong, and that's something that I know they've really tried to make their backbone of their defensive organization.
Oh, you're right. There hasn't really been a true final third push from Harvard yet in this game. Where do you go to that for your source if you're this Harvard team right now?
They've got to find a way to be a bit more clinical and creative in how they're attacking. It's at times a bit too slow, I think, with their movements and their ideas, giving Columbia time to read it and adjust. So you've got to be able to bring that flair in the runs or the passes. It could be somebody off the dribble, just something that is unpredictable in that sense for Harvard offensively.
More of a high press here. Javers giving some run to the Harvard defenders. Maybe Koenig trying to clear ahead, and Bitzer flies that one down. Monsione trying to get an entry there for Tabion on the outside channel. Nobody home, and Koenig will collect.
The other part of this is if you're Harvard especially, you need to make Columbia chase. Right now they're able to defend very comfortably with everything in front of them. It's very textbook defense by the Lions, so Harvard has to find a way to make them work a bit more, and that's what just picking up the tempo of how they're possessing and building up field.
Weiss yields the foul, so Harvard will take over. Well, in their own end. Sent ahead, nobody home again for the Crimson. Olaf Kristendottir, the Icelandic forward, one of the premier players of this group at the striker position in the number 9. Missed all of last year due to injury. They're more than happy to have her back. She was the 2023 Rookie of the Year in the Ivy. Second team All-Ivy that year as well.
Great addition for them to have back on the field, someone that brings that experience, leadership, winning ways, and honestly, someone that's also just going to be so thrilled to be on the field.
Rahill, good looking, one touch behind. This is the handle on it briefly. Santos Lopez tries to keep it alive for the Crimson, and that's cleared. But the first real penetration we've seen in the final third from Harvard.
Bingo, and that could be the uptick that the Crimson need. It's something different. You saw the flashy footwork, just breaking down to Columbia and able to get into some gaps up the field.
Andre Francois defended well by Sam Weiss and cleared by Dima Elder. August Hunter works down to Hiensdottir Gonzalez, and Arena works back to Leshnik. More and more of a cluster as they approach the 18. Harvard keeps that alive. Hiensdottir Gonzalez sends one toward Cage, but well wide.
Harvard definitely had numbers forward that time, getting especially their backs into the offense. Just didn't have a lot of space, to be honest, as we take a look at Samantha Mahoney.
Been really steady, and the shoes were big to fill this season after Lauren Rodriguez last year was just a mainstay in between the sticks. Helped Columbia to that number 2 seed in the Ivy last year.
I'm sure for Mahoney, she wants to make sure Columbia is not getting too careless around the box. That last play there, a little bit too close for comfort. Want to make sure you're possessing high up the field to protect this 1-0 lead.
Annie Ferrone in the midfield. The Javers, one more to Tabion, disrupted by Anna Koenig.
Feels as though there's a slight shift right now in these last possessions in favor of Harvard. They're keeping it a bit more. They're drawing fouls. They're getting numbers forward. Just have to make sure now they're getting the spacing that they need to be able to keep it in their attack. But we have seen them having the better possession, I would say, honestly, since the goal happened.
Starting to step up in possession for sure. Maybe they just needed to ease into the game a little bit. Try to find some momentum as they carry. Here's Koenig. Drops off cross pitch to Jasmine Leshnick. She's a threat from anywhere. Works off to Anna Rahill, the other threat from anywhere, truly anywhere. A 3-match goal streak for Anna Rahill, number 19 in black. She approaches into the 18, sends one through. It's deflected, and an easy collection there for Samantha Mahoney.
Again, we've said Samantha Mahoney's name a little bit more lately, especially after you look at the first stretch of this game. It's been Harvard continuing to get forward, getting around the edge. That time, that's the first shot we actually saw from them in the box this game. So seems like the Crimson are picking things up a notch, especially a turnover like that, giving them the ball right back.
Yeah, can't have that. Dima Elder couldn't catch up to it. See if the Crimson want to work fast. You can see some of the hair on the ponies showing you which way the wind's blowing. And sometimes it's going to either help or hurt the velocity of the ball you're sending over.
Definitely. Listen, it's November. This time of year, you can get anything from snow to wind to even warm, hot, sunny days. So this is that time that you hope to be dealing with some cooler November weather. But you do have to also be mindful. I think it's better keeping the ball on the ground, driving it more, and then when you get around the goal, just following everything up, because shots, crosses can take a weird spin.
Susie Long, nice deflection there from Aoife Turner. It's turned right back over to Harvard. Van den Einde. Her passing gets deflected. It's Audrey Francois. Trying to work toward that short corner. Sam Weiss knocks it away, and this will set up for the first corner of the day for the Crimson.
Well, now Columbia needs to get some answers to be able to stop Harvard's attempts getting forward. This is a good chance for Harvard to see if they can equalize here. You see them taking their time to set up this corner kick here. If you're the line, stand tall defensively, and then quickly need to reset to get the ball upfield and keep it on the other end.
It's Jasmine Leshnick. 2 assists on the season. One of those from set pieces. Drawn in, deflected by a Columbia player. That ball's still alive. Finally parried away by the Columbia back line. I think Mahoney even got a chance to punch that one away.
There were a lot of bodies in the ballpark on that. Oh, that's official gets in the way, so whistle stops that one. That was a crazy defensive play by Columbia. Look at where that ball was played. Leshnick drops it in beautifully right into the top of the 6. Then how about that? The Lions just using everything they have, getting their body behind it to block that header on frame. I believe that was Susie Long that was getting that final header attempt for Harvard. Feels like the Crimson are knocking on the door a little bit here.
Certainly starting to feel that way. Here's Anna Rahill. Looking to deflect that. That ball is sent outside of Camiso Soccer Stadium.
Another corner kick opportunity for Harvard. That's 2 in a span of about a minute. The last one was dangerous. This time Leshnick gets in the box for it, as Long will be taking it.
Susie Long, the left foot. That ball just skips over the rest of the unit there. It'll be out of play along the sideline.
That left-footed in-swinging corner kick had a lot of bend on it and great pace as well. Well done by the Lions to defend both corner kicks cleanly, but off this throw-in, you've got to get organized so you can get out of this onslaught right now of what Harvard's offense is bringing.
Aaron Gordon checks in for Harvard. As you enter Chan in for for Columbia rather. And Aaron Gordon. So sort of the back line. Santos Lopez gets a little too involved with the feet there, tied up with Tabio.
Well, between the substitutions and this foul that you see whistled here as Maez brought down, definitely a foul there against Santos Lopez. That might be enough for now for Columbia to kind of have a sigh of relief. They defended well the last series of corner kicks and opportunities for Harvard. You've got some fresh legs out there. If you're the Lions, you have to raise the tempo back up to regain control of the ball.
Harvard needed 2 big wins last year to close out the regular season and make the tournament, and they did exactly that, including a comeback victory over Yale. Lauren Munoz, number 22 in black, had a goal and an assist that day. She's not on the pitch now, but maybe her clutch heroics would come into play later on. Imagine 19 on your screen might have something to do with that today, with the streak she's been on. So Sarah Lloyd checks in for Susie Long. Nearly 35 minutes gone. Francois tries to enter back in the midfield. Dima Elder has a good hang up on it. Columbia's back on the prowl. Beautiful shot. Rhiannon Stewart saves it, but not with the mitts.
This is unfortunate for both sides. Columbia had a great opportunity, didn't get that pass off quick enough, so it was offside. You can see from even our angle immediately that it was a hair too slow to get the pass off. As we look at this replay, great start by Dima Elder to set it up, and then that final ball in just took a little too long. And then how about this unfortunate, as we see Stewart down, she's still down currently. The ball hits her smack in the face. It is cold, it is windy, and it hurts no matter when you get hit in the face, but that makes it even worse as Rhiannon Stewart is getting tended to currently.
Ouch, not where you want to be able to save that ball. Obviously take the time that you need if you're Harvard. You want your steady goalkeeper, who's been so good for this group, to stay in there. It's a beautiful pass to Akinirika. It's rattled off the face of Rhiannon Stewart.
Yeah, it definitely was a good build-up for Columbia. It started in transition, just getting numbers forward, catching Harvard flat defensively, able to find that pass in. They almost probably could have made the skip pass instead of that one extra, just play it a bit more direct to the runner. But I do think you look at a pivotal moment like this for Harvard as they're getting their backup goalkeeper warmed up, as you see on your screen. This is a massive game-changing situation here. We talked about Rhiannon Stewart and her numbers that she's had so far this season. Obviously, Harvard already down 1-0, and a goalkeeper is not easy to replace, especially in a must-win game like this, just in terms of also bringing someone in fresh off the bench as a goalie. You don't normally see subs happening for a goalie for a reason. So it's one position that's tough to have a player enter in during the contest at all, let alone in a very important must-win game like this.
Denver Tolson, the senior from Duluth, Georgia. Whenever you have a substitution, so you're getting some reps there. If you're Columbia, what's changed over this time? When you think about the way that Harvard has started to enact a little bit of more pace on offense, where do you surmise the game has changed since that Columbia goal?
Yeah, it feels like Harvard's doing a better job of getting numbers forward. They're playing with a bit more urgency. Of course, giving up that goal is what caused that too, but it's doing a better job of getting around the edge. We've seen some flank services. We've seen some shots from a closer range. The corner kicks they created, it just started by them taking risks to be able to break down the back line of Columbia and get in behind. So I think the one thing, though, that Columbia is still able to do well that Harvard's struggling with is in transition. That's something head coach Chris Hamlin talked about for the Crimson, wanting to ensure they're doing their part on transition plays, both sides of the ball. Right now, Columbia, their goal, their best chances, including that last play by Gabby Chan as that shot hit off of Stewart in transition.
So Rhiannon Stewart is A-OK.
Glad to see. You never want to see a player go down at all. Glad to see Stewart is okay. They did their protocols to check to make sure she's going to stay on the field, and we will not see Denver Tolson come in.
She's tough. She's from Elthorne Park in London. And I'll make them soft out there. And luckily, of course, no broken nose and no concussion. And now Harvard, maybe propelled by the toughness of their goalkeeper, perhaps. They were really on the run in the final third.
Yeah, and sometimes in these games you need something to rally around. Of course, there's plenty of reasons to rally for a game like this, but sometimes you need those moments that just change the trajectory of the game and really help you elevate your intensity. And I think Harvard needed that. Columbia just has to figure out how they can respond defensively.
So the Columbia foul gives a free kick for Jasmine Leshnick, another set piece that is of utmost importance today, according to Chris Hamblin. Being able to capitalize in those situations, or at least, if not a goal, at least let Columbia know that you're there and maybe threaten every time you have a free kick or a corner. So send this one into the top of the 18. It's headed out briefly. It's alive for the Crimson. Ian Stoter Gonzalez. Back up to August Hunter. And a foul on Santos Lopez will yield another possession for Columbia.
Every foul so pivotal for changing the game. This now gives Columbia a chance to stop, take their time. They can get numbers forward. They can also run more time off the clock. And it stops any chance of Harvard in that instance trying to regain possession.
Good positioning there as well for Izzy Weiner to draw the foul. Santos Lopez and Kristen Dote up to try to press on, and Columbia turns that one over back to the Crimson.
As we take just under 9 minutes, this is a key stretch right now. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, the next 5 as players is what you're always focused on. And this last 8.5 is key for any sense of how the remainder of this game is going to go. Harvard continues to trek forward and create more. Still looking for that one moment that fully makes Samantha Mahoney have to make that tough save. But they've at least been able to get forward much more often, more recently.
See what happened in that last sequence. Santos Lopez got that ball rattled off the shin guard. No patrons were hurt in the process.
Yeah, there's been a couple of soccer balls.
We don't need any more face injuries.
Exactly, a couple soccer balls that have flown off the field. One that went in towards the buses, this one in towards the crowd. So listen, everyone's got to stay ready. Not only the players on the field, but everybody watching too.
We might have to stay ready a little bit here as well. Can't open the windows in the press box.
I was going to say, I've seen soccer balls come towards the broadcast booth. No one is ever safe.
You never sent one towards the broadcast booth when you were playing. Deflection or otherwise.
Maybe.
Krista Doter sends one at least to try to pepper toward the cage, and that's wall wide. Testing Samantha Mahoney, who's stood her ground in the first 45 minutes, or nearly. Again, big shoes to fill from Lauren Rodriguez last year. 2 seasons ago, Paige Nurkin was the senior goalkeeper, first team All-Ivy for Columbia. They won an NCAA tournament game. It's the last time they made the national tournament. Anna Rayhill gets shook up a little bit on that contact.
couple players got tangled up on that last possession, and Ray Hill still seems to be down after. It was kind of slow to drop to the ground. Not sure exactly what she hurt, but is back up on her feet. Just looked like an awkward collision here as you look again at the replay. Just a few bodies tangled up.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell in the moment. Looked like just a quick collision. Hopefully no wind knocked out. Already have enough wind as it is.
Yes, exactly.
Kristen Doter back through to Hienstoter Gonzalez. Aaron Gordon working through in the midfield. Sarah Lloyd, a sophomore from Denver. It's tied up there briefly with Sophia Ambrose. Santos Lopez had a few good runs here in this first half. That one's sent away by Bitzer.
I think this is something that for head coach Chris Hamblin and Harvard, they're going to look to fine-tune at halftime going in second half. Just the way they're executing in the final third. They're getting numbers forward. They're getting opportunities. But that final service and shot has been off the mark and a bit rushed and forced. Nice turn there. I think they need to be a little bit more clinical in how they're executing in the final third.
Lloyd tried for it with the heavy left foot. Santos Lopez regathers off the deflection from Tabio. Nice little move there from Gabby Chan to keep that possession alive. Sends it forward. On the chase is Charlize Berry, and they're going to call her offside. Had a good run at it. Just a little too far ahead, according to Greg Muse.
Yeah, so well done by Gabby Chan. She's been great in her minutes on the field. We saw her with the good opportunity. She's the one that had the shot that was blocked by the face of Rhiannon Stewart. This time on the other end as she was serving the ball in behind. But that's a few times we've seen now, Joey, that the Lions have had opportunities to play quicker in transition, but either the run has to be more patient or the pass has to be quicker so they're not offside when they receive it.
Tabion, direct contact with Kristen Doter. Santos Lopez couldn't get a handle on it. Kristen Doter, a little something extra in the midfield. And she gets caught. Rob Komorowski will award her a yellow card.
Well, it felt like we were building towards potentially our first booking of the day, and there it is. Definitely a little bit extra there as Olaf Christian Doter comes in late with a hard foul, and we've been seeing fouls are trending upwards, but with a game like this, I expected this type of intensity. Officials on it to quickly get that booking out.
"40 minutes gone by. 5 to go. Last-ditch efforts here to try to at least get something before halftime, or you feel like in a game like this, you don't want to risk any. You don't want to be too risky.
Well, the final 5 and the first 5 of any half are the most dangerous for goal-scoring opportunities. So this is where you can't get flat or complacent. You have to continue to put the pressure on offensively so that you are having the better of opportunities going into the break.
Audrey Francois thought she had Kristen Doter ahead of the 18 there. Briefly did. Hienstoter Gonzalez sends that one toward the outside channel. It's collected there on the outside by Hawkins.
This is where I expect we'll see that final push from Harvard to get an equalizer before the break. Columbia needs to stand strong defensively.
Aaron Gordon works down to Sarah Lloyd on the outside. Ambrose covering. Well ahead of the 6. Still alive here for Harvard briefly and sent away. This time by Gabby Chan.
Lloyd turns the corner, able to get a nice service into the box. Harvard just didn't have great runners finishing their run into the 18. A lot of light blue jerseys we saw at home. Not a lot of crimson players.
Right works down to Leshnik. Francois, head of the 18. This is Doter, one more touch. And Bitzer tries to get that one away. Santos Lopez briefly shuts the door. Still alive for the Crimson. It's Leshnik.
Harvard winning a lot of 50-50 balls, allowing them to win any clearances right now off of the foot of Columbia. It seems like every time Columbia is trying to build a field, it's going right back to Harvard.
Columbia just can't get out of their own way.
Lions doing everything they can to hold on to this 1-0 lead.
Skied high in the air. Mahoney doesn't have to worry about it, but it's chased down by Lloyd. She's covered by Ambrose. Great individual effort on defense to take that one away in the one-on-one. Because if you don't, Sarah Lloyd may have had a chance for another centering pass. A lot of contact on that particular sequence. Still alive here for Anna Koenig. Koenig loses the handle on it.
Bodies hitting the deck left and right. It's just the urgency that I was referring to in these last final minutes. It's when you have a chance, you see the clock winding down, leave it all out there before you go into the break. See if you can get that one final effort.
Here's Gordon. Looks back to Leshnik. Leshnik, good pass in. Bitzer was there. Senior captain playing like it today. Under 90 seconds to play in the first half. There's a Columbia goal in the 18th minute. Harvard trying to answer and get back level before half. Lloyd. Nice move. Centering pass in. That's headed up by Bitzer. Still alive. Here's Lloyd along the short corner, and that's going to be a corner kick for Harvard.
Well, with a minute left, it's Sarah Lloyd, the player that continues to put the pressure on down this left side. 3 different Columbia defenders were standing there, and Sarah Lloyd got to that 50-50 ball first. Just wanting it a bit more right now, and is willing Harvard forward to create corners off of that last one and also some great chances. How about this, Joey? Seconds left, and Harvard with a corner kick to try to tie things up before the break.
Sent up, and Mahoney clutches it out of the air and gives Columbia, in all likelihood, the lead going into halftime.
Samantha Mahoney steps up big here. Look at this, a sea of bodies in the 6, and you see the green jersey outstretch them all to grab it out of the air and grab away Harvard's chance of looking to tie the game up heading into the break. Well done by Mahoney with a tremendous first half.
Columbia outshoots Harvard and owns the 1 goal.
Look to your team. Having players from Iceland and other countries, the way they play the game, their culture of soccer, their brand of soccer is completely different and adds something unique. So how about Harvard with that 12 international players?
Well, Columbia has instigated here something that's become more popular among college soccer. Try to get an early possession, maybe later at least try to press a little bit, with now Leshnik having to throw in from her own back end.
Yeah, and you see this pretty often off the opening whistle because it's hard to possess it. So instead you knock it. Sometimes teams will look to knock it forward and then they can get numbers forward, and it actually helps exactly as they just did. You knock it forward, it gets out of bounds, you get your shape, you win it back, and now you essentially regain possession. So I think that just speaks to how, for Tracy Bartholomew on the Lions, they wanted to come out and put the pressure on and get the ball higher up the field, literally from the opening whistle of the half.
No doubt. Could you ever see a world where somebody has a ruling against that, and maybe
probably there's been some changes, yes, to make soccer more possession oriented, especially at the youth level, in terms of some rules that they've been implementing. But I think sometimes you just have to knock it high and wide just to relieve pressure, even if it is off the opening kick.
Well, Harvard handled the early tactics pretty well there. Columbia might have a chance at it, though. Chavez reaches forward, and Both players thought they were going to be offside there. Maya Beltran joined her in that effort, junior forward.
That's unfortunate. They did a great job of forcing the turnover, winning it back, but just miscommunication on that play there of who was going to get the ball. However, if you look at what Columbia's done in this opening seconds of this half, you can feel a slight difference of putting the pressure on Harvard higher up the field and forcing Harvard to have to defend out of their own end.
It was heavy possession Harvard in the latter part of the first half. After Columbia's goal, Harvard felt like they needed to get something going offensively. Any key changes that you foresee for either side here in the second half, Renee?
Yeah, I think they both have to play to the score a little bit. Of course, there's so much time left, so this game is far from over, but you do have to play smart if you're Columbia and making sure that you're not, getting caught forcing numbers too forward. And same for Harvard. You want to take risks. You have to try to get that equalizer, but still can't give up that insurance goal. So I think we're going to just see a little bit more of picking and choosing those moments to just go versus being more patient, staying home, especially from the Crimson.
Hamlin shared with us this week that making little changes, not necessarily to the lineup, but the way that tactically you're attacking the opponent, really going to be important in a game like this where they're familiar with each other's style. Chris Hamlin and Tracy Bartholomew have coached against each other for 10-plus years. And Harvard has owned the Lions in this series, 32-4 all time. And Columbia ended a 16 unbeaten streak for the Crimson in this series last season.
Yeah, and I know head coach Bartholomew mentioned how over the years Harvard's notoriously had such great goal scorers and offensive prowess that they've had to defend, and knew coming into today that was going to be the same case, especially with the way that Harvard's been playing as of late behind someone like Ray Hill. So just ensuring that they defensively were doing their part to be prepared for what Harvard was going to look to bring. And so far, they are weathering the storm pretty well.
Oh, Tabion. Oh, man. She started to see a real special opportunity right out in front if she could get the beat on Rhiannon Stewart.
It's a great start for Columbia so far because the pressure they're putting on is really making it difficult for Harvard and almost for some costly turnovers deep in the box of their own attacking 18.
Turner, the sophomore from Los Altos, California. In the back line, anchored there with Dima Elder and Samantha Weiss, as well as Layla Hawkins, around out the fourth spot there in that back line. And really formidable today. What great individual efforts as well from the subs. Sophia Ambrose included in that conversation. Monsione gets the pocket picked by Anna Rayhill, and Harvard's back on the run. A little pass in. Bitzer's there to clean up. Didn't quite get that to Rayhill from Francois.
Well, Harvard really looks to attack from their back forward. I know that's something that Coach Hamlin spoke about. They look to get numbers forward. As soon as they win it, they just go. And you already can see in the second half, it feels like Columbia's done a better job of adjusting to that transition play by the Crimson.
And a Kooning held up in the outside channel. And the final third here for Columbia and Harvard. Insto to Gonzalez. Skies that one high in the air, and Dima Elder's there to collect. So kept alive here for the Crimson. Sarah Lloyd. And work back to Leshnik. And the team very content to hang back. They both want to be aggressive. And unfortunately there, Mahoney a little bit hot on the pass there to Layla Hawkins. It's out of play.
Yeah, That might be what Harvard needs just to settle into the second half. There's their first opportunity really to get forward. But again, actually, as I'm saying it, here comes Columbia taking it right back from them.
Shutting the door on the Crimson. Time and time again here in the final third, just as they were in the first half. Got to get out of your own way here if you're Columbia, though. A little bit claustrophobic along the sideline. Maya Beltran takes a hold of it. Nice little flick behind. And Layla Hawkins is on the run.
So it was needed to break the pressure. Good 1v1 opportunity here.
Beautiful for the first year. Javers trying to find Tabione, and another miscommunication for potential offside. Would you rather just see these players go ahead? Because that's twice now Columbia is held off because they don't want to be offside.
Yeah, it all starts with, I think, just communication and be on the same page. Whether you're going or checking, you've got to know what your teammate is doing so you can get that pass off quickly.
Beautiful look here ahead for Columbia. Javers again! Another goal for the Lions, and they extend their lead to 2. A brace for the first year. A 2-goal lead for Columbia. Well cushioned. And Evelyn Javers gets her second.
An incredible second goal by Evelyn Javers, right on time. Columbia has come out the second half so strong. Look at this beautiful slotted pass. And then the timed run, we talked about it, staying on side. Javers does it perfectly, allows the ball to roll across her body, resets, gets her hips around it, drives it back post out of the reach of Stewart, and puts Columbia back on the scoreboard with an insurance goal that could not have come at a better time. Well done by Evelyn Javers and the Lions.
Her 4th goal this season, 2nd today. Tracy Bartholomew let us know, listen, we have some really good youth that could be here for a while and give some serious headaches to Ivy League opponents. Javers has established herself as a serious force to be reckoned with.
Look at both of those goals that Javers finished and how that developed. It was, as we were just talking about seconds before, being on the same page, timing the runs, talking through it, beautifully spinning off the back line to be able to make that run in perfectly timed to be ready to finish. That is textbook attacking forward movements by Javers. Beautifully done by the first year.
Tabione on the outside channel. Nice strike, and Rhiannon Stewart's there off the one hop.
I know we talk a lot about the brace that we just saw Javers with her second goal, but Annie Farrow with a beautiful slotted pass in. Have to give her credit for just drawing in Harvard's defense and then being able to shuffle it off perfectly to Evelyn Javers to set her up to finish. Now, if you're Columbia, you're feeling good about this, having a 2-goal lead. But as anybody in soccer knows, a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous, making you think the game's out of reach when it's far from over.
Everyone's first assist in Ivy League play. With the Princeton win, either of these teams make it, or both. They're headed to Princeton, New Jersey. There was a far outside chance that if Harvard won and got some other results to favor them, they might be the host.
That's how wild it is. We're talking about Harvard potentially hosting, or this game stands as is, potentially being eliminated altogether. That's how close the conference really is when you look back. Even at this play here, beautifully done. Annie Farrow slots it perfectly timed to Javers and does a good job of just drawing in Harvard's back line to be able to create that goal. It is a matter of one play, one special play being the difference in not only this game, but honestly in the Ivy League from the top to the bottom.
Beautiful pass ahead. Tabione Really nobody in front. Rail catches up, or Koenig catches up to it just in time. Leon shot, that's deflected, and Aaron Gordon clears for Harvard briefly.
Now Columbia heavily looking for another goal, continuing the attack, and you cannot take the pressure off with just how much time is left in this game. One goal by Harvard, they're back in this, so Columbia has to continue to keep the ball on their end, maintain possession, take care of the ball, and of course run time off the clock.
I do believe in the worst lead to have is 2-goal lead.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it play out, and I've been on both ends of it. It is very dangerous. One goal from Harvard, especially with 34 and a half minutes left in this game. The belief is high. They're back in this. And I think a lot of times players naturally can feel complacent when you're up 2 goals, and that is a dangerous thing to play with.
Santos Lopez yields the foul. This is set up for a free kick for Columbia. Fireworks in the first 10 minutes of this second half. Columbia leads 2-0.
Lions have been in control of this game from the opening whistle of this half. You can see Tracy Bartholomew and her squad implementing some great changes.
Koenig, left back, retreats and parries that one away from any Columbia offensive players. It'll favor the Crimson as it runs out of play.
We talked a lot in the first half about Harvard being able to get numbers forward late in the half to create chances. Right now, they are just looking to get across midfield. This entire second half has been heavily in favor of Columbia. Of course, the goal, but in general, just the possession and the ball on the field has been high up in the attacking end of for the Lions.
Elder. Krista Dotzer, a little physicality on the outside there with Samantha Weiss.
Olaf Kristendolter is sitting on that yellow card, so that is something to keep an eye on. You're playing aggressive, but need to play smart. Don't want to see another yellow going her way.
She's got some great intensity as well. Didn't want to let any moment pass by this year where she wasn't playing at her best, having won Rookie of the Year in the Ivy League in 2023. Missed all of last season due to injury. Leshnik. Briefly tied up there with Maya Beltran. Javers, very sneaky. Trying to just usurp that chance for Harvard. Maybe give Columbia another shot. Worked ahead, here's Lloyd. Into the 18. Lloyd wants the one more. And briefly touched on there. Mahoney collects it before Krista Doder had a chance to get her foot on it.
Sarah Lloyd has been one of the more consistent threatening pieces for Harvard's attack so far in this game. And for Samantha Mahoney and her squad, they did a great job in transition just to stifle that attempt by Lloyd. Didn't give her any options. I thought Lloyd had an initial lane towards the goal herself, slowed it down. And once she slowed it down, the Columbia pounced the Lions back, pounced all over her to ensure that she didn't have any other options there.
On a play here, Leshnik returns it for the Crimson. So much of this group is not relied upon one person. A ton of different parity for goal scorers here for Harvard, so you don't know where it's going to come from. Lately, it's been Anna Rahill on a 3-game scoring streak.
That could be a good and a bad thing. On one end, there's no pressure for one specific player to have to lead this team offensively, especially in a game like this. You're not relying on one player. It's not all on one person's shoulders, but also can make it tough of who do you lean on in these big moments that's going to help step up and make the big play. But it's been by committee by Harvard, and they need that committee today. as time continues to trickle on to see if they can get something going here offensively.
Maya Beltran holding up in the midfield. Works it back to the back line to Aoife Turner.
This is where you see for Columbia just being patient. They need to value possession just to keep it. You just want to make sure you're not over-possessing, especially around your attacking or defensive end.
Santos Lopez. Really good chance here off to Francois. Francois, the one more. Kristen Dotzer tries the back heel flip. And Mahoney's there.
Oh, boy. You look at this play here. Well done by Harvard, working the ball out wide. That's a beautifully slotted ball by Francois. Numbers in the box. Love the creativity that we see there by Kristen Dalter and the run by Lloyd. But Mahoney just in the nick of time to keep that from being a goal-scoring opportunity for the Crimson.
Because all of a sudden, if you have that lead for Columbia, all the momentum starts to favor the Crimson.
Well, right now we're seeing Columbia slow things down a lot. They're just possessing, taking the air out of the ball, so working it around their backs. But through that, Harvard's continuing to get their line of pressure higher. They're chasing, and they're actually forcing more turnovers right now in a dangerous area for Columbia. So I think the Lions need to continue to possess, but focus on possessing higher up the field.
Some of the presence of this Harvard offense continuing to just wear down Columbia at times, and then other times Columbia will do this on a break. Here's Tabion. Certainly onside. Tabion, nobody home. Maybe the second option. That's inside the box. Sarah Lloyd got the better of Moncion, and there is no call.
Well, I think that may have been a break for Harvard because, to be honest, that in real time looked like a foul. Let's take a look at the replay here as the ball comes across. They do collide into each other. It is truly a 50-50 ball. No one has it. So you could actually argue it could be a foul against Moncion as well, since it's not like either of them had the ball at their feet. Lloyd was slow to get up on that one. But I could see that being called a penalty kick in favor of the Lions, too.
And Sarah Lloyd was a little bit shook up. Rhiannon Stewart also going to take a break here. To be 10-2.
Well, I'm not sure what happened to Stewart on that play, but as we know, she did get hit in the face earlier off of that attempt by Gabby Chan, but the trainer's not checking out her face. She's actually taking a look at her leg, it looks like. So somehow she may have stumbled or misstepped a bit that she's getting checked out.
Take another look at the brace today from Evelyn Javers. Just incredible what she's been able to do on this stage as a freshman.
Yeah, that's what makes it even more special. This is a freshman that's stepping up in one of the biggest games. It's senior day. It's win or go home, an elimination game. It's a game to keep your season alive, and it's one of your freshmen that's helping to put the team on her back in a big way. Javers has been so great around the goal with her runs, and then, of course, just the composure to finish those chances. So an incredible brace that I'm sure the Lions have to agree is right on time and much needed.
So Denver Tolson is staying loose as well. Not sure what happened with Rhiannon Stewart. We didn't see her have any contact with any player.
She now is getting a drink of water as she's still getting checked out. Of course, if she comes out, she could come out the game and then go back in. But that's, again, goalies, you don't sub goalkeepers. That's not something that you typically do. So second time she's been checked out in this match. Does seem like she's going to look to stay on the field. Something to keep an eye on, though, as she's still taking a drink of water to see if how she's going through the remainder of this game.
It'll be interesting to see how Harvard handles that on their substitutions. We play on.
There's been a lot more pressure coming the way of the back line anchored by Stewart. I remember in the first half, I feel like when we saw Stewart get hit in the face, that also changed the momentum. Felt like in favor of Harvard that they rallied. See if they have a rally in them here.
Beltran works down in the corner. And somebody tripped down. I think that was Tabion, just along the corner flag.
Yeah, great effort to try to save that ball before it was going out of bounds for a goal kick by Tabion. As we keep mentioning, this one of those games, even if you think it's going out, still attempt to save it, leaving it all out there, because regardless of how this does end, one thing that they do know, this will be their final time playing on this field this season in terms of regular season games, so you want to make sure you're still leaving home the right way.
And for the 4 seniors on our day today, it's the last time at Camiso Stadium. Mancione. Back inside to Tabion. Another thing to keep your eye on as well, the sun is right in Mahoney's face as well. Given the game time today, we thought that might be a factor. Now here in the second half, Harvard might try to take advantage of that a little bit, don't you think?
I absolutely think so, because you can see for Mahoney and a number of players just shielding their eyes as they're looking at the ball. It is a little bit tricky. We already talked about the wind, not to put our meteorologist hats on, but between the wind and the sun, there's a lot of weather conditions that can be a factor here in the remainder of this game.
Sarah Lloyd favoring that leg once again. Second time in just a couple minutes, and seems to be just a nagging injury. At least some discomfort for Sarah Lloyd.
Yeah, we did see her get tangled up in that last play with Sammy Mancione. A hard, kind of awkward collision and with that tackle that had her down for a significant amount of time before she got back to her feet. So although she's fortunately able to walk off on her own accord, she will be walking off, as you can see on your screen now.
It is a beautiful day at Camiso Stadium. You see the sun right in the face of Mahoney. And everybody's pretty thankful for the sun. The temperature dropped this week. And
absolutely. Listen, it's great for everyone except for the people that are staring into it with a soccer ball coming their way. Yes. But for the rest of us, I'm thankful for the sun to be out today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It does, though, make it hard because there's random moments in the game that the ball will get caught in the sun and make it tough to see. And it's not predictable. It's not consistent. So that is something that is a factor. It's not like you can play with sunglasses on or something.
Ooh, they should institute that rule.
In baseball you can, in softball, but
to get some of the popular New York sunglasses
that
that look
exactly.
like three blind mice.
Probably would have to be goggles, though. I think that'd be safer.
Yes. Yeah. You didn't roll up in any three blind mice sunglasses today.
No, I did not.
That's not your thing?
You know what? I wasn't prepared, actually.
Or the translucent ones. Those are all.
Yeah, it's November. I wasn't prepared with sunglasses. Scarves and hats, for sure, but
all
not
day.
Sunglasses.
And the earmuffs, too.
Yes.
Francois tries to at least test this Columbia defense. Santos Lopez keeps that alive briefly. Tabion and the rest of the Columbia midfielders.
Well, another player down, Elsa Santos Lopez, slow to get back up on her feet. You can see her a little bit on your screen. I've had a couple of times that she's been slow to get up after collisions. This is that time of year when your body is just not ever going to be 100%. You're already sore, nursing possibly some nagging injuries. It's become survival of the fittest in that regard.
Andy Ferrone. Now to Tabion. She had the one more if she wanted it. And eventually they find Mancione. She catches up to it along the short corner.
A bit heavy on that pass, but well done by Tabion to be able to track it down. Just unfortunately, they weren't able to keep it.
And a Ray Hill, full head of steam. Works up to Krista Dotzer. Olaf trying to find some space. Works to Francois and Elsa Santos Lopez. And Francois even takes the tumble. Kennedy Belfont. On the outside channel, also Santos Lopez gets some contact there. She'll send one into the box. Up to Francois. One more for Ray Hill to catch up to. Off the torso of Aoife Turner, some patrons prodding for a handball. Leshnik down to Ray Hill. Trying to catch up there is Layla Hawkins. And another opportunity stopped there by Aoife Turner.
One could say that that's possibly 2 missed PK opportunities. Have to see that one at some point again, but they wanted a penalty kick and a handball.
Francois down to Gordon. Columbia walks away unscathed if they can get a turnover here on this possession. Krista Dotzer rattles off of Aoife Turner, and that's going to be another corner for Harvard.
Harvard has turned up the heat again. Look back at this play by Anna Rayhill serving it across the box. That is very close. Did not get called, of course, for Harvard. They wanted that to be called a handball for a penalty kick. Nonetheless, does still result in a corner kick off of that opportunity. Well done, though, by the Crimson, especially Kristen Dalter, to be able to keep that one alive. A number of services and chances for Harvard. It feels like they're turning up the heat again, similar to what we saw in the first half. Around this similar time, too, I believe.
And plenty of substitutions to boot as well for both sides. Get some fresh legs in there. Going to the midfield and forwarding groups. Fourth corner of the day for Harvard. Lofted high in the air, sent down. One more, ball still alive, Mahoney. Drops down, it collects.
I don't know how that did not go in, but Samantha Mahoney and the Lions. Look again at this replay. This looks like it was a for sure goal. It actually was initially off of a Columbia player. Ball bouncing around on the goal line before Samantha Mahoney jumps on it and ends that attempt by the Harvard Crimson. My goodness. That for sure looked like it could have been a breakthrough moment for Harvard.
So much momentum in that. In the last 2 minutes toward the Crimson. Take another look.
This is remarkable. Ball bouncing around. Just watch Samantha Mahoney on your screen. She's trying to find it, surveying, finds it, jumps on it, ends the attempt. And Harvard nearly able to squeeze one in to get on the scoreboard. What a day for Samantha Mahoney. I know her head coach, Tracy Bartholomew, mentioned she expects for goalies, and this is what most coaches expect, but I loved her saying this, to make all the saves she's supposed to make and then 1 or 2 spectacular ones. That save right there, absolutely spectacular. And you have to hope if you're the Lions, she doesn't have to make another big save like that because, whoo, that was a scary one, Joey.
A little bit of sweat off the brow, I would say. Ray Hill. And Harvard not giving in. That one is also off the torso there of Aoife Turner. She's been getting peppered in the last few possessions here. And another corner for Harvard.
They continue to outshoot Columbia. They continue to have more corner kicks in Columbia. And it's been Anna Rayhill down this right side. We've seen her finding the ball a lot more at her feet. 3 consecutive games of a goal, knocking on the door for Harvard.
Got a low in-swinging ball. Somebody, I think Anna Rayhill was tugging on a kit there, and it's going to be a turnover. That chance extinguished there for the Crimson.
That's the type of discipline that's unfortunate, though, because if you're Harvard, you continue to get corners and services and chances. You don't want to ruin your own chances with a foul. Need to play those straight up. But again, look at that number. 5 corner kicks to Harvard for 0 for Columbia. Yet Columbia up 2-0 in this game.
Thanks so much for being with us here today. Ivy League on ESPN. Renee Washington, Joey Lindstrom, entire Columbia crew. Van den Einde loses the chance on that possession briefly. Works off to Francois on the return. Beautiful out in front for the Crimson. The one more. Saved off the line. I believe that was
That one started again with Samantha Mahoney. Columbia, they're standing strong defensively with all they've got right now.
There's no doubt. Another great effort from the defense of the Lions. They're going to need it again here. Vendeninde way over top and well out of play along the end line. Let's take another look at this sequence. You said it. Mahoney gets the save off the rebound there for Muniz, who was clutch last year in a game like this.
That's a beautiful slotted ball in by Audrey Francois to be able to find Lauren Muniz streaking towards the goal. It looked like that was going to be the one, but yet again, Mahoney with another spectacular save. And then also, I love the fact that not only does she save the first one, but it's a team effort to ensure that rebound is also not scored. Well done by the Lions, and you have to wonder, was that the last surge of Harvard, or do they have more left to try to get a goal?
Yeah, Dima Elder actually was the one that saved out off the line. The sophomore showing out. Young players continuing to do so. Muniz trying to catch up to that one for the Crimson. But you said it, Renee. Big team effort. That's what you're going to need. Especially in a critical juncture like this. And Harvard is just chomping at the bit to try to get a chance to go home. And potentially cut the lead in half for Columbia.
Reality is you win as a team, you lose as a team. It's been Evelyn Javers on one end offensively to get those 2 goals that are much needed, but it's been Samantha Mahoney anchoring them defensively to keep Harvard scoreless.
Mahoney this year, 16 goals allowed, 24 saves coming into this one, 60% save percentage. And Columbia didn't do themselves any favors in the first 4 matches of the year, really fell behind. Starting the year 0-4, giving up a lot of goals. Tebion trying to catch up to this one with Aaron Gordon in a foot race. And Gordon just sends this one back to her keeper, Rhiannon Stewart. There's Leshnick. Harvard trying to go fast and quickly.
Yeah, this is where you start to see more urgency for Harvard. Have to play everything quick, every transition, every restart. Look at the pace and just the intensity you're seeing. Players flying around trying to win the ball back.
Sammy Monsione is getting ready to check back in. This time for Izzy Weiner. Came on during the crazy corner kick sequence that Mahoney jumped on. "60 minutes and change in our match today."
This is when you have to look to catch your breath and reset. There's just under 16 minutes remaining in this game if you're Columbia. You've been able to stand strong through a series of really dangerous looks by Harvard. This is when you need to lock in as a team and just focus on the next 16 minutes. Defensively staying organized and see if you can get the ball higher up the field. They've been under so much pressure from Mahoney all the way through. If you're Columbia, you've got to relieve that pressure and get the ball higher up the park.
Olaf Christodota is back in for, this time, Audrey Francois. So it looks like Muniz is going to be the heir apparent for striker here. And Christodota a little bit more of a wing player, perhaps, in the way that Harvard's set up right now. A chance here for Hiensotik Gonzalez. Works off to Vendeninde. Susie Long, entry, too tall for Harvard. Mahoney nearly lost that one in the sun.
Yeah, that's the danger of the sun. You look at this again, beautiful service into the box, nice header, well done by Muniz and Harvard to get, again, numbers into the box. So we've now seen them attacking corner kicks, transitions, off of flank services. that Harvard is putting the pressure on Columbia.
Columbia, 14 and a half minutes to guaranteed entry into the Ivy League tournament. Seeding to be determined. Harvard could also get back into the tournament.
It's a good opportunity for Columbia just to continue to slow it down. This is when you take your time on your throw-ins, on your restarts. You maybe fix a shin guard to allow for more time to run off the clock before you take that throw. Just the little things of game management.
At 14 minutes, Harvard needs a draw for a chance to get in. There's Susie Long in the outside channel. Monsione on the prowl once again. Excuse me, that's Ankanirga. And her chance gets stymied there by Susie Long. Works to Van den Einde. And Harvard just needs to pick up their pace just a little bit, Renee. Try to work back into this one. You got to see one go in the net.
Absolutely. I just feel like for Harvard, this is their best sequences of opportunities. They've got to capitalize. You have to strike when the iron's hot. When you've got momentum, you're creating chances. You've got to be able to put one away. And shout out to Columbia, though, for not allowing them to find the back of the net.
There are no scenarios that live if Harvard loses for them to make the tournament. One more, and Sabian just a hair length away from heading that one down into the cage.
That's unfortunate. A goal there really puts this game away, honestly, at that point. Saw the great service by Evelyn Javers. Nicely done to be able to cut across her body to create space for that service. And then Maya Tabian had a wide open lane off of her head, just unable to control that one on goal.
With the Princeton win today at 15 points, sure the title for the regular season is out of reach for Columbia. However, they could win the tournament and guarantee themselves a spot in the NCAA tournament. Their first since 2023. Part of that was 2006 when they won the Ivy.
Yeah, with this group, especially with their youth, and I know as head coach Bartholomew talked about the 24 freshmen and sophomores, the slow start, the fact that they're here in a position for at least a chance to clinch a tournament spot with this win and eliminating Harvard with it, can't ask for much more of a turnaround of how this season started to how it's going now.
And that kind of settles things. There was 27 different ways that the tournament seeding could have gone entering today. Puts everybody else at ease when you know a couple of those scenarios are locked up.
Nicely defended there by Columbia again, and I love that for both sides. As we spoke with the coaches, that's what they talked about. Listen, there's so many scenarios that could play out, but what we do know is you have to control what you can control, and that's how you play, that's how you execute, that's how you step between the lines to get a result today. So far, it's been Columbia.
Beltran working through in the midfield. Again, Cornell at Dartmouth tonight will assist in helping everybody figure out seeding. If Columbia holds on to this lead and wins today, Dartmouth hangs out at 11 points, so with a win, they would usurp Columbia as far as seeding goes. Again, if this result were to hold.
That's important to note. This is not just about who the top 4 teams are. It's also for positioning in terms of what the table is going to look like. There were so many scenarios as to how the Ivy League final standings would look at the end of this decision day. And so elimination, who's hosting, the playoff picture all coming into form.
Leshnik sends one rocketing toward the top of the 6, and luckily for Columbia, deflected away. This will end up with another corner here for Harvard.
You see just how dangerous Leshnik is off of set pieces. That's why she leads this team in goals and assists. Wow, a beauty in terms of pace that she put on that, but does it up for yet another Harvard corner kick.
That ball lofted and over top of the net. 6 corner kicks to Columbia with a goose egg as far as set pieces go, less for the free kicks in the middle of the field.
Beautifully placed corner kick, dropped in nicely by Susie Long. The lefty has done a great job with those in-swinging corners. That one looked like it was going in, but just pops right over the net. Harvard continues, though, to be all around the goal.
Ian's Dota skies that one away and out of play.
Attention, please. Substitutions for Columbia in the 83rd minute. Re-entering the pitch, number 16, Maya Tabia. And number 27, Izzy Weiner. Replacing number 21, Eddie Saporian, and number 23, Sammy Lucio. 22, Sophia Ambrose. Replacing number 13, Samantha Weiss.
No doubt. At what point do you bring Rhiannon Stewart off her spot and into the run of play?
I think she's going to continue inching forward, as we're seeing now. Ironically, as you mentioned, the ball going to her. The time is now. I mean, 2-0, 6 minutes remaining. You need a goal. You need to make sure you continue to keep the ball as high up the field as you can.
If Columbia wins, they clinch a spot in the Ivy League tournament and eliminate Harvard from playoff contention. Crimson got to have 2 goals for a chance at least to get 1 more point in the standings and possibly make it. Princeton and Brown have already locked up their spots into the tournament. Princeton is now hosting. Caught up to there by Sophia Ambrose and Kennedy Belfont. Tracking that ball down for the throw-in.
Harvard continuing to play very quick.
Starting to send more balls into the top of the 18. And a good run here from Aoife Turner, who's been through it in this second half. As a defender, just a lot of entry passes deflecting off of her. Crowd is beckoning that Anna Rejo maybe touch that as it went on a play.
Yeah, well, you need these calls to be going in your favor. The ball does come right back to them, though, off of that turnover by Rejo. But to the point of Turner, previously, Aoife Turner, just fantastic job. One of those players that you're seeing step up, helping to anchor this back line. The sophomore's been tremendous today.
Up ahead at Savion, can't catch up to it. Out of play, 4:20 to go. Hawkins works down to Beltran. Somebody's got to be out there. And it's Kennedy Belfont.
This is where you don't need, doesn't have to be pretty. Just keep the ball high and wide. Find the corners if you can.
Rob Kormowski saw that tie up there with Keens Dota Gonzalez. And Arena loses that battle, and a foul yielded there by Columbia.
This is the hard part if you're Harvard, because you are playing more aggressive, which might lead to more fouls, but fouls actually mess you up because it allows Columbia to take their time, run more time off the clock, get numbers forward. So you have to play aggressive, but try to minimize those fouls to avoid restarts.
Last year for Columbia, they're the number 2 seed in the tournament. That was their best since 2017. They lost to Brown 2-1. But they improved on their win total for the 3rd consecutive season. They get the win today. It'll be win number 6 on the year. So that streak will end, but they don't mind as long as they get into the tourney.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be pretty all the time, but I think for Columbia especially, you look at this season, a lot of positive, especially with how they're playing down this last stretch of the regular season heading into the postseason.
Inching on season number 40 for this program's existence next year. Started in 1986. Had 2 Ivy League tournament appearances. They've been Ivy League champs once before, back in 2006. Chance to be tournament champions. This result holds. Final 2 minutes and change for the Crimson to attempt to draw. It's going to be a tough hole to get out of.
Yeah, you start to see the body language changing a little bit for Harvard. They've had so many great chances, especially late in the second half, but as that clock continues to get under 2 minutes, you have to feel like it's a bit out of reach.
Another corner. Right in the inside post. Tabion comes up a little bit shaken after that one. How about Samantha Mahoney today? In clutch moments, coming up big. Got some help from her back line as well. Belfont heads that one up in the air. Kept alive briefly. Columbia's got to get out of their own way here. Off the back line, still deflected, and it's in! Harvard scores and cuts the lead in half. It's Aaron Gordon.
Oh, boy.
Got to go here if you're the Crimson. The clock does stop, and they needed that goal. The sophomore from Sydney, Australia, gets her first goal of the season.
You see immediately they grab the ball. Olaf Christendaughter grabs it to get it back to midfield to reset. Aaron Gordon, it didn't matter who it was, but there were a sea of players around the ball, off this ball, bouncing around the 6. And then finally you see there the deflection. It just hit up pretty much everybody before it finally hit the back of the net. Harvard, who's been all around the goal, finally able to find one, go through, and it's Aaron Gordon. What a time to have your first goal of this season. Then a goal to give you some hope in this final minute and a half.
Part of the Australian national team. And Columbia likely to just kick this one off and make Leshnik and the Crimson put on their racing shoes. You get your first goal in the 89th. That was, I think, the straw that broke the camel's back as far as Columbia being able to save balls off the line. And maybe with a minute to go, the Harvard Crimson can draw to keep their Ivy League tournament hopes alive. Here's Belfont along the outside channel. Sends one back into the 18. Christendaughter. That's deflected. Tabion goes along the end line. Another corner for Harvard.
Wow, and now we do see Stewart coming up, getting into the mix. You want to be able to celebrate Aaron Gordon's first goal of the season, but can't celebrate at all unless you're able to finish the job. 30 seconds, a corner kick, 2-1. Who could have scripted it any better than this?
And Rhiannon Stewart is in the box as well. Leshnik